That's the one? That's the one. My computer updated, and everything in OBS broke. You know how it be. Anyway, I was saying I'm a little late starting because I had to report a bug. We're listed in World versus World right now. As like in the LFG, I'll show you. Right? Well, okay, so he took us out. But like previously we were listed in LFG. And you can't see anything. Like your LFG tab for World versus World Squad and Party Play does not show anything that's ever listed. So it's going to be real annoying to use LFG for public tags who are trying to tag up and build a World versus World squad if they don't have access to that vital recruitment tool. Anyway, now we're good. Now we're set. Let me spin up a second local recording. This is going to be my last night of harvesting Scourge footage. And then we can put together a Power DH video. And we can put together a support Scourge video. It'll be nice. So let's start recording. Close, minimize. Liam, thanks for the follow. Welcome. I have no supply. Perfect. Just as the Lord intended. I'll hit this gate. I'll pull this war player. I need you to come closer, my friend. I'm gonna try and pull this war mechanist out of the gate in 3, 2, 1, pulling. Got him. Oh, I got him into the corner. I didn't get him out the portal. Rip. Well, alright, I'll wait for pull to come back up. Oh, he's playing scared now. You better heal, bud. I'm gonna go pull him through the wall. Just to remind him to know where it's safe. I've interrupted him. He's so far back now. Whatever. No, I can't get him up the stairs from there. uh. Yeah. Ooh, that's an unlucky shot. Yep. Dude, he did not see that shit coming. Can you imagine being the guy on that truck though? You're just firing shots and you see a +3. You're like, what the hell happened over there? I don't know, man. Like if you have a map queue and you have 2 tags and you need help with pack, I can't do anything about that. Now, did you try the map hop gambit on them? I was just gonna say, you know, if you try to get onto the map and it's queued, you can be like, hey, we can't fit. So you guys can either float off if you want pack to get wiped, or you can figure it out yourself. Because sometimes people really be like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave. You guys have fun, and then we get to have fun. Yeah. A typical support player, honestly. I'm convinced that support players AFK 3 to... Oh, group in front? Hold on, pausing that. Support players really do be AFKing a lot. The 15s were GVGing. Did I start recording? Yes, okay, we're good. We're all set. He's just on Willbender because he's waiting in queue. He'll switch to Firebrand when he makes it. Now we're going to get nodes first here, because other people might grab all the supply, and then we don't have to worry about... Oh, all the supply's gone. Unlucky. That sucks. Who's this other tag? There's tag behind the gate. They came out the gate. Who are you? Oh, it's CTH. Okay. They do not look big. Oh, good blink. Crazy blink. I don't think my wells are really going to connect on that. Pulling on portal. Damn, speaking of Night Fury, when's the last time he was around? We should check in on him too. Hey, Quaggan. You not playing tonight, or are you in squad and I just didn't notice? Because I was gonna whisper you and be like, hey, I'll play Scourge tonight. But then you weren't online. I'm gonna pull on portal. 3, 2, 1, pulling on portal. I got evades. You're there, but you're not a Scourge. I don't understand. Checking, 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 checking. Checkers? Any checkers? Oh, okay. That's fair. Have fun playing with him. We're the worst Nightfall. He's still stuck in the corner, though. Let's go. Pulling above him, I think I might be able to reach the one person. Europe? Never mind, the gate came down? Uh-oh, uh-oh. He's still up top. It's okay, we got it, we got it. I did this. Lubiel tag, can y'all take your Bloodlust? Ruthless, you want to handle that, or should I? Okay, you got it. Oh, man. That's ROG. Nice, nice, nice. They're moving away from the portal. That's unfortunate. Now I'm looking for them to come in south. Hey, it's going to Lord. I'm not going to be that far off tag. I'll get my nodes later. I decided to treat myself and bought another set of gathering tools. I put scavengers on them, so now I get a whole bunch of like small useless trophies every time I gather. It's pretty good. I'm having a great time. Like, how much are these things worth? Tiny totems? Yeah, okay, they're basically worthless, but I get more of them, so that's neat. They're stacked on portal. You're trying to res your friend. I don't think True is going to let you do that, but I'm fine with letting you do it. It feels like they need a lot more people. The Sweet Hairy Angel's doing fine. They came in. Barrier. Holy, interrupted. I should probably like be close for my commander. Immune invulns, fair enough. Oh, there's a lot still in here. They portaled? It's a portal? I got interrupted again? If I get interrupted again, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. Just breach here. I do have wells as well, yeah. It looks like they're gone. There's a couple north. Oh my god. They came in behind. They came in behind. I'm gonna live. I'm fine. I'm gonna live. He didn't call wells, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Don't tell him. But it was a good spot for wells. Like, they're just W keying into you. You're always gonna drop wells there. We lost 3. That's not great. Because they're bigger than we are. Let's see if we can get a couple of reses off. Wells here? I don't have wells on Nightfall. This is going to be a bit of a wasted pull, but it might drag a couple of people into my wells, and that would be fun. You have breach up if you wanted to hold the corner. Nah, never mind. Damn, they won. Chat, 2 seconds. I gotta blow my nose quick. I'll be right back. I swear it's not cold. Like, I'm over the cold. I just sneezed right before I started stream. And I got my sinuses all loose. I'll be right back. Okay, we're chilling. We're good. We're alright. Enemy players 40. My drumstick. My drumstick. I'm ready to focus up. I'm ready to play video games. Stay outside. No, it's just a couple. Yeah, it's just like 4 roamers. I ain't worried. Ooh. We're platinum already. Yeah, I guess it is Wednesday. Makes sense. Wonder if they're stacked back there. No. There's just a couple over here, though. Doing portals again, I think. Anyway, that takes care of that. I'm gonna go pull on the portal. Pulling on portal in 3. We got 3 numbers. I tried. How the hell did I miss it? You have wells in 5 if they push out. Yeah. They're going for pulls. I feel like I would push out shortly after doing pulls if I was on enemy. Especially if I saw that I got a couple downs. I'd be like, okay, they're soft. They used a couple cooldowns, so I'm going to push out. Got one. They've elected to not do that. I would maybe push out if I thought my enemy was distracted. And we're so scattered out here. If they pushed, it'd be free. You have pulls an 8. You want me to try on left side? Okay. The haze up there isn't that. Well, I can still grab this guy. Get over here. You are not safe there, my friend. It doesn't do anything, but it does get him out of position, so it's harder for him to free cast until he gets back up to the top. And then when he walks back up to the top, we're also getting the pull back, so that by the time he arrives again, we'll just yoink his donkey. Like this. I bet that would work for Ironhide. They're top right. They're top right. They're top right. Good pull. I have pull in 5. I'm just going to cleanse that cripple myself. Can remove 1 player from the objective. There's Boop killing our ram, which is smart. Four DMs? What the hell happened? Oh, it's just Quaggan. I mean, oh, it's Quaggan, my friend. Remember me mentioning I like sneaky sentry turrets? That's a wild sentry turret. It's crazy. I don't know what it's designed to do. Oh, wait, that's an enemy sentry turret? Is that an enemy sentry turret? Oh my god. Okay, that's actually sick. That's really good. Yeah, I love that. I guess you just... How would you do that? Let me see if I can replicate. Yeah, I guess. If you can, like, get it to clip onto geometry. Yeah, you just chuck it from below until you get it to clip onto the thing you want it to clip onto. Okay. I'll save that one in my little folio. My little notebook of misdeeds. But that was only 2 of my DMs. What are the other 2? You know what? One of them's probably Ruthless pinging K&T, and the other one is probably Ruthless pinging the Alliance Discord. Yep. And... Yep. Okay. That is what those DMs are. Nice. I don't think so, no. I never actually looked at who was on Red BL. I just talked to them in map chat like a... Yes, on Red, the enemy group was Pack. I don't think the CTH tag was either of the 2 tags on Red BL, though. I don't know. I don't have any real record of who these people are. Yeah, I don't know what groups those are. Is there Gary getting hit or something? No. The hell? He didn't know. He liked the critical information. Yoink. Yoink. God, how many more of these Jam Theory reward tracks do I have left? I just have to finish Blood Moon and then I'm done, but like I've needed everything from these boxes. What did we leave off on? Warhorn we have, Torch we have, Sword we don't have. Unlock. Yes. 12 of 17? We still gotta do that shit 5 more times? Holy cow. I don't even know what other well, actually, you know what? We might be done with that in time to run Lunar New Year gambling tracks, which would be fun. But after that, I don't know what I'm gonna run after that. I guess I could just farm more Gifts of Battle. I'm down to like, okay, 35. I thought I was sub 15. I have way more of those than I thought. It's like 3 greens in here. This is a tower defense opportunity. What are my other options here? Oh, you know what I can do? I can run the hero weapon reward tracks, and I can start working on the corrupted weapon skins. That'll give me another 16 to complete. OJ's other side of the map. Yeah, OJ's green spawn tower, so that's RXG taking green spawn. We'll head over there. We still have Q on red? No, but it's probably really close. By the time it gets to like 9:45, we can probably head over there, but I don't remember when pack tags down. That's the only problem. That might also be when they decide to finish up. Either way, most of the content in this matchup dies at like 11, 11:30, so we're kind of on a timer. They just flipped it. No, they're just spawn camping green. Look at how they're all spread out. They didn't want green to get back into the objective. I can finish this down. I can do this. Go on, get the stomp. You got it. I'm gonna pull on portal. Actually, I'm gonna pull on left side in 3, 2, 1. Pulling left side. Misses. Fucking blind. If they try to pull on the gate, I'm just gonna roll barrier. They're getting really close. Yeah, let's pull back one off that. Guardians need to be looking to stun break your friends here. Never mind. There's 2 people in our squad who died to that. It's not all greens. Pulling on AC again, left side in 3, 2, 1. Pulling on AC. Evade. Good yak kill. They're going up on gate again. Just kite away. It's really hot. I'm transfusing. I'm transfusing. The wall targeted. I'm an idiot. They were in roads anyway. I wouldn't have pulled them. I have pull in 5. We're out of combat on Thularan somehow. Small group stacking left side behind the tower. They pulled off. I'm going for a yoink on the portal as soon as their stab expires. I got one interrupt from a guy who fell on my head. Kite away from poles. That's more greens dying. Hey, this is not their spawn. Okay, I guess they're not interested in defending this tower anymore. Outnumbered red BL? Those tags might have left. We could go red now. Unless you want to keep chasing this group down. Yeah, they're definitely turning and not boarding. Bay has swords. And they're definitely running like they want to go to Bay. You tag up then. Oh shit, team chat getting spiced. No, you. Oh shit. He's changing his mind very quickly. I don't know where he went. Is that the same one? Yeah, it's the same one. Bomb has gone to red BL. I'm gonna go get close enough to Bay that I can see a Lord report. Lord is 100%. They're gonna kite all the way to like Gary. Yeah. We'll go red. I don't think blue wants to fight right now. I think they just want to K-train the map. Waypoint contested. E-waypoint pulled. I'm taking A. Inner gate is 15. Inner gate's 15. Inner gate is down. It is pack. That's not green. It's a shitload of people. I don't know. Hey, good news there's two groups here, because our north left tower is also under attack. It's a lot of men. Yeah, and we have 15. So yikers. Yikers Island. And Pack is good too. Like, they're not a top tier fight group, but they're good enough that you can't just run over them with half their numbers. Legends Northwest Tower. Yeah, there's a larger problem in Gary. I can do this. We can do this. Yeah. DTF calling it. GG's DTF. Ooh, good push. That's not where I want my shades to go. Uh-oh, that's really bad. That's horrible. Yeah. Fair enough. That was a really bad wall. Absolutely horrendous wall look. So who took green? Or who took tower? Who dis? War? Okay. We should have time for one more crack at this. We'll see. Oh no. Frozen. You poor soul. Oh man. He's already fighting. I gotta get up there. Reaching. He's called it already, so. In combat with what? With what? Rip. We're gonna have to find a way to kill that bad group, man. Is this claimable? 3 minutes. No. Hello, Aaron. How you doing? Hey, video. Thanks for the sub. Appreciate it, man. You catch us in the middle of trying to rebuild our morale so we can go and fight Pack again. But we have no clue where the rest of this map is. How close? Oh, how far down did they get that wall? We'll never know. Surely somebody will go and repair that then. You. It's over for you. There's even more north? What is this? This tower is getting hit from like 3 angles. I'm getting strong vibes that green also doesn't want to fight Pack right now. Because these are some goblin tactics being deployed. Do I have the kill an elite? No, I don't have the kill an elite today. I want to check that one of these days. I was talking to Roy earlier, and he said that a while ago he changed the elite wyverns on this map so they'd actually give credit for the kill an elite objective for PvE Astral Vault stuff. But I have not had a chance to confirm that, so I kind of want to go look at it one of these days. Alright, here comes Pack. Let's see if we can do a bit better. This wall should already be very low. Yeah, it's down. Wall's down already. Alright, let's see how this goes. They're coming around left side. This is too far for them to pull, so we don't have to worry about that. I don't think that's too far to pull. I don't think they can. Oh, on the wall, yeah, maybe. No. Yeah, if they come up like there, they could probably clip that corner. Haruka's gonna get their ass beat on that spot. Maybe? Maybe not. Moral victory? Moral victory? Chef, how's it going? What's up, Big Seed? Going well. We're trying to figure out how to kill 54 pack players currently with like 35. It seems at the very upper end of something that's possible, but it's maybe possible. Considering that it's 24 of us and like 7 of bomb and like 10 greens. It's a bit of a tall ask. Barrier up here. Pulling here. Wells on this. I got pulled in. Oh, fuck. I'm dead forever. Goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Oh, it's good downs, though. I gotta double up on that. I need to live. I can't give up on my team like this. It's not over for me. It is not over for me. Now it's gonna be over for me. That's too much. We have lost too much at that point. We have so many downs, man, but it's not gonna happen. Also, I had 0 initial stab. I'm in commander party, so I guess I shouldn't complain. Like, Yumi was given stab. Wells 10, breach 40. Knock this cat down. You just got done with your stream? What are you streaming these days? You also doing Guild Wars, or are you trying some other stuff out? They're out on Parapet. I wonder if I can pull them from here. No, there's no way the GS5 geometry works here, right? Yeah, no. No shot. Have I DPS Scourge? No, this is support Scourge, unfortunately. It's full Minstrel. I think you probably could get away with playing like the old Zelly Scourge build, but we really need as much barrier as possible right now because we're heavily outnumbered in this fight, so I just have to be giving the absolute most barrier that I can right now for us to be able to crack this 55-man group. Goon and Bomber Veiling? It's a little ambitious. What's the ratio of support to DPS that most groups run? I think at this point most groups are running 4 support to 1 DPS. I think that's more true on EU than NA. We are good fear, good corrupt. We are playing NA right now, and our group specifically does 3 support double DPS. But we're a little bit of an outlier for that. God, the corrupts are crazy. You have to fire your Sandstorm Shroud now. I don't think we're going to be able to do much about that. We'll leave one shade on the inside, a little sneaky shade. For support, what are they? It really depends on the group that you're running with. I've always kind of thought about support as primary, secondary, tertiary, where a primary support is something that gives boons, like a firebrand. A secondary support is something that gives cleanses and heals, like a druid or an engineer. And then a tertiary support is something that, like, sort of gives boons, but it's not good enough, or it sort of does cleanses, but it's not good enough, or it gives barrier. So that would be something like a scourge, or it would be a renegade. So what most people are running these days, I think, is either Chrono or Firebrand as primary support, Scrapper as secondary support, and then Scourge Renegade as a pair of tertiary supports, and then a DPS of usually Berserker, but also like sometimes Vert, sometimes Hollowsmith, sometimes DH. Hello. Hello. I think that's a fairly normal squad comp right now. You might see people running Druid, you might see people running Tempest, you might even see a couple of people running like Heal Vindicator. You might see people running Firebrand instead of Chrono, but I think Chrono is slightly more popular right now. You also might see people running like Heal Reaper, just because Reaper is really good at spamming Transfuse, because you can reduce the cooldown while you auto-attack in Shroud. It sounds terribly boring. It is. Nobody likes this meta. That's why a large portion of the community is very excited about the balance patch coming up in February. And also why our guild just never bothered switching all the way to 4 support. Like, it's not fun to play 4 supports and then have 5 people in your squad be responsible for downs contribution. Is it a mathematically optimal comp to run like double DPS, triple support? No. We would probably win more fights if we ran quad support, but it wouldn't be as fun, so we don't. Where are they at? They're going to nodes. They're not running away, they're going to nodes. Are you killing people with 1 TPS per party? That's how much damage Arc Divider and Traps do. If you load enough damage in the same spot, like, the barrier has a cap, and you just kill people through it. So, yeah, damage is that busted right now. And that's kind of the quandary that the balance patch team has to resolve in February, is that the reason people are running quad support in the first place is because damage used to be even higher than it is now. Oop, they're out. Hold on. Hang on, please hold. Oh, that's great downs. Drop a Serpent Siphon here. I really don't need to use my Greatsword skills. Just get extra volume down. I don't see any of us with downs. They go back inside. That's beautiful. Alright, we win. Easy. It's easy game, easy game. Yeehaw. You have wells in 10. Oh, they came out? You don't have wells yet. We have any downs here? I don't think I need Transfuse. I can trail. That's something. And I can just wells here. And then I can Sandstorm Shroud. Alright, that's heavy question marks. But I don't think we need to win that fight open field, so we gotta take any opportunity we get. But yeah, like Exceed was saying, I mean, I should do a video on this because I think it'd actually be kind of interesting. With the change where Arc Divider went from 3 strikes to a single strike, is when all this started. Because Arc DPS used to hit you like 3 times for 30,000 damage, and then they changed it to hit you 1 time for like 15,000 damage. And that's so much better than it was previously. Strip padding on downs, this is down strip contribution. Those strips matter, man. So everybody started running Arc Divider because Arc Divider did an insane amount of damage. Overheat did an insane amount of damage. And you could run like 1 Hollowsmith and just auto down 5 people. So because of how much damage Arc Divider was doing, and because of how much damage Hollowsmith was doing, the only way that groups figured that they could keep people alive, other than just randomly dodging to hopefully avoid Arc Divider going out, was to run Barrier. Because Barrier just pads a bunch of extra health on top of your health and can help you live through Arc Dividers. So, as damage goes higher, Barrier application also goes higher, which incentivizes groups to bring more barriers so they stop getting spiked by the DPS. And while it might sound counterintuitive, I really think the way that ArenaNet probably needs to address the way that the balance meta is right now is by nerfing damage and mostly leaving Barrier alone. Because the problem with the 4 support squads isn't that they have 4 supports, it's that they have 1 damage. And that 1 damage is good enough to still down players through 4 supports. Also, we're not even dodging, just stacking on each other regardless of enemy AoE. We'll dodge and move around a bit, but we also comp for melee, so we really want to stay in close quarters. Like, if you look at all of our DPS, not a great time to show it because it reset when I got into combat, but we're running Zerkers, we want Arc Divider. We're running DHs, we've got Traps, we're running DPS Vindicator, we really want to be in melee for like GS5 hits. That's where we want to be. So we do kind of just need to stack in melee and try to out-sustain it, but you can watch your individual positioning to stay out of the way of the majority of damage, which is what we generally try to do. If they nerf damage, how are you ever going to kill a 4 support squad? You won't, but the 4 support squad also won't be able to kill you. And most people running around in a 40 or 50 man 4 support squad are doing it to actually kill players. And if they can't do that, they're going to have to run more damage in order to be able to do that successfully. Especially because if damage isn't that high, you're just kind of wasting a slot by bringing a 4th support. Like, I'll ask you this, right? If they nerf damage, how are you going to kill 4 support squads? What's stopping people from running a 5 support squad right now with that same logic? Because if you added like doubles, if you ran a comp that was like Chrono, Scrapper, Scourge, Renegade, and all 5 of those professions were Minstrel, you could run that right now. You just have no way of actually killing another group, which is why people don't run it. Like, the goal of a world versus world squad is not to live through an enemy's spike, it's to put an enemy into down state. And because of how strong damage is right now, you only really need 1 DPS to do that. Next time we fight Pack, I'll show you. I'll pop like a damage window open. But the Zerkers and the DHs and the damage in our squad are probably spiking around 30 to 40,000 DPS. And if that's one person taking 40,000 damage per second, you can't barrier through that and you can't heal through that. You die. So the reason you stack tight on tag is because you don't want one person to get clipped by every single Arc Divider going off. You want to spread it all across your squad. So that 40,000 incoming DPS is spread across like 40 people. And then everybody in your squad is only taking 1,000 DPS, and that's way more manageable. Stacking in one spot with 4 support sounds horrible. It is. And that's the reason that I don't really play it. Like, Ruthless is commanding tonight. He's going to do his own thing. But when I'm commanding, I will usually try and emphasize a bit more of, like, positioning, push in, spike, pull off, use terrain to my advantage, rather than just like, okay, we're going to stack in one spot, press your heals. Because I personally don't find that playstyle interesting. and I don't think it's so important that I must win that I feel like I have to play it. Like, I can have fun having close fights and sometimes losing, versus having the most boring fights imaginable and winning more often. They're up on the hill to the left side. Okay. The perfect ratio is 2 support 3 DPS or 2 support 2 DPS 1 utility. I agree with you 100%. The 2 support 2 DPS 1 utility meta that we had in like 2022, maybe? When like DPS Scourge could strip, Renegade could strip, Spellbreaker could strip, and Chrono could strip, and you also had like Worker Spellbreaker for like might generation, and none of those classes like did anything, but they were good and you brought them. That was a good meta. I like that meta a lot. This meta is not that good. But even still, I think this meta is probably better than like the Scrapper Stealth Blast meta, and I think it's also better than that meta that lasted like 5 months where everybody was playing Chaos Aura Share Chronomancer. And I also think it's better than Rise. So it's not like the worst meta ever, but it's definitely a pretty bad one. Thanks for the follow. DJX 3 months. 3 Mo. DJX 3 Mo. DJ X3 Mo. Alright, pack approaches. I feel my frame is dropping. I feel frame jitter. They're inside somewhere. I wish I could get out of combat, but I'm just gonna wait for the gate to come down and hope they're not directly behind it. Ruthless is mounted. I assume he's sniffing. There's one. Yep, they're going to be right at top of the stairs, left side. So watch the damage meter here, and then we'll take a look at it. Which meta was my favorite? The meta in 2022 when there were 4 viable strip professions. When you could play Renegade, Scourge, Chrono, Reaper, Virtuoso, and Spellbreaker, and all of them were like viable on strips, but didn't do a ton of damage. I love that meta. That meta was great. I get why they nerfed corrupts, but I like that meta personally. Barrier. We're going to dodge through one, and then you see how I'm just kind of positioned on their edge? I'm not getting directly in there, because I don't want to be in there. I'm going to die, and then we're going to drop back over here, because that's where they're pushing away from. So we claim all these downs as they pull off. We're just kind of hitting their middle ground here. And now that they push in, we're going to switch to their tail, and we're going to claim all these people who are slow to dodge. So we're not just going to stack in one place. Like, we've been inside 400 this whole time. But we're not just standing in one place. There's actually a bit of positioning that's going on, just to stay really tight in melee. Then we head back out. Ruthless, you have wells? You have wells. Dropping wells. We'll just clean this up here. So there we go. Now we'll see what those exact numbers are. But I think that's a pretty emblematic fight of how you have to position in this meta when both groups are trying to stack tight, but you still have to try and claim downs off tag. Don't we have 8 DPS in the comp? We'll see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It looks like 9 unless somebody died early. So we've got 9 and 30. Which is, 2 per party. Now, not all of them are great DPS players, but... And then if we look at, like, JJ, 30k damage spike, Ham, 20k, Donk, 10k, that's not a very good spike for him. Viper, 15k, those spikes are a little low. I've seen them spike at, like, 30k or so. But we managed to win regardless, so... And then that was 26 plus 25 versus 53. So it was 51 v 53. It's basically an even fight. These groups are us, where we've got 26 in the squad. We have 3 people who are queued, I'd imagine. What? Are you guys not on stack? This guy was on stack. This guy was definitely not on stack. This guy's definitely not on stack. I don't know where the other player was, but I guess we only had 26 people in combat that fight. And then the other 25 is Tyrion, wherever his tag is. Tyrion de los Bravos. There, no, that's Melody. Tyrion's in here somewhere, and he's tagged up. So, which classes would I buff and nerf? I don't know that I would buff or nerf their backloading. I guess it makes sense. This is their corner. I'll try and answer, but I may need to stop to take this fight. I actually don't know that I would buff or nerf specific classes. I think I would nerf Barrier by having the duration that Barrier is applied for. They're veiling? Oh, Jesus. That's interesting. They might have gotten a pretty good drop-off on that. We have a ton of downs there, like, from our team. So we're just going to stay over on this side. It's really scary in front right now. Just tuck in here. We're going to save our Nightfall because it's not going to hit, and then when they come back down, we drop Nightfall here. Give a little bit of barrier when they push forward. This is a ton of people overcommitting, so we want to claim all of them. Claim all these souls. Strip a couple boons in that stack. That Sword 4 isn't going to do anything, unfortunately. We can kill this one. I don't know what it's going to do, but, well, we can at least separate him from stack. They're going to drop again? We'll clash through them here. Give me one shade, give me two shades. Fire off Sandstorm Shroud. You have Breach in 10, Ruthless Breach 10. We really want to try and coordinate a spike here. This fight is going on too long. You have Breach up, Ruthless. You have Breach up. We've lost a couple. They're not veiling, never mind. I've got pulls in 3. You want them? They're dropping again? That's ambitious, man. It's like, I think they actually might win, but man, that is aggressive play. Alright, just chill here. Stack some Vol in the Sword 4. This is going to be really hot, and I have almost no support left. So we're really looking to transfuse now. Because I'd expect people to start going down from these pushes. Our support is getting really low. That's a ton of downs, though. Maybe their support is also bleeding? This is really scary. We need to dodge at the top here. You can't not dodge that. Any barrier I have at this point, really. Any strips I have at this point, really. I can Sandstorm for 1, which, like, isn't amazing, but I kind of have to, and I really just have to roll barrier on cooldown here. That's not a great Wells. Oh, that's really bad. Yeah, this could be bad. This could be bad. This could be bad. I gotta get out of there. That's a horrible spot. This is a lost fight. We have overstayed our welcome there for sure. Hey, to be fair, honestly, they dropped super aggressively off that corner. They did a really good job of just getting really aggressive and killing a bunch of people who are not paying attention. They played that well. Nerfing the amount of health that can be barriered. That's the other way that I would do it, is I would actually take it down to like 10. But I actually kind of like barrier as a reactionary, or a proactive support, where you can be like, we're about to push, I'm going to give barrier. I just don't think it should last as long as it does. Because if you pop barrier, I mean, how long does this actually last, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 seconds, basically. That should probably be like 2 seconds, so that you can roll it while you're in combat, and it gives you a little extra padding right when the fight is getting really hot. But it's not so much barrier that you can just like roll your barrier skills on cooldown and you have permanent uptime. I think cutting barrier to 10% would probably also be effective, but it would reduce the utility of barrier as a mechanic, and you'd probably just see groups stop playing it. Whereas if you nerf the duration of barrier, you'd still let it be something that good groups and good players could utilize. It would just make their timing and their skill with timing matter more than it does. So I would do that for barrier. I would nerf the power coefficients on DH's core skills by like 10 to 15% probably. So I would take like Arc Divider, cut that by 10 to 15. take Test of Faith and Daybreaking Slash, cut those by 15, and then take Corona Burst and Overheat on Hollow and probably cut those by 15. That takes care of your damage for a while. You can look at whether you got the coefficients right or not, but it'll like at least move things back to a little bit of normalcy. And like really, if I was aim at balance, which I'm not, and I'm not even like a professional game balancer, I'm just like a guy, I would do that and then I would wait 2 weeks. And I would just see what it looks like. How does that change things? Isn't there too much boons going on? I think there's probably too much alacrity. I don't think any profession should have access to 100% alacrity, and I'm pretty sure that Renegade is still quite close to it, especially if Renegade is running Relic of Rivers. But I think Stab access is actually perfectly fine right now. I think Resistance access, if you put like an asterisk next to the fact that Renegades can pre-stack Resistance, is also probably fine. And I don't think that boons like Might, Protection, etc. are really as important as Stab, Alack, and Resist. Like, Stab, Alack, Resist are the most important boons for World versus World by an astronomically wide margin. And I think Stab in particular is actually in a perfectly fine place. Actually, no, they need to nerf Road. Hold on, I forgot that Road existed. They gotta chop Road's target cap down. And then Stab will be fine. Stab, Swift, Resistance should be the only 3 boons that's perma. You should not make Resistance permanent. Because if Resistance is permanent, there is no reason to use non-damaging conditions. Like, why would you ever bother with a MOB if a group can keep Resistance up with 100% uptime? You're just, like, negating a whole set of mechanics. I actually think Resistance uptime should be a lot lower, so that gimmicky MOB professions like Electric Fence, Blade Sworn, and, like, Entangle Untamed actually have more of a role than they currently do. Swiftness? Yes, Swiftness should be 100% uptime. But then I think Stab is also an important skill check, because, like, what's the function of CC if you have permanent stability? Being a MOB is the most frustrating thing in the game? Yeah, that's the point. That's why you run something like Relic of Phoebe. Wait, I'm on Relic of Mercy? That's probably fine. Like, if you find a MOB to be the most annoying thing in the world, let me introduce you to my good friend Relic of Phoebe. Every time you use your heal skill, you cleanse a MOB specifically. Or Relic of Resistance. Every time you use your heal skill, you give yourself resistance. Like, it's annoying, and the fact that it's annoying means that you should have to incentivize active counterplay to it, rather than just saying, you can have it all the time. I think a group that doesn't pay attention to their access to resistance or their use of resistance should be frustrated, because they're making like a conscious choice to not use it. The active counterplay is strip. Like, sort of. But there's not really a lot of strip that priority targets resistance. And the problem with pre-stacking resistance in particular on something like Renegade is you can sit out a combat and stack up to 30 seconds of resistance on Renegade, and then every other boon you ever apply goes on top of it. So the only way you're ever getting to strip resistance from resistance that's applied by a Renegade is if you are stripping through every single other boon that they have. Prot's 33% damage reduction, which is huge. It's actually like 39% damage reduction if you're running a Tempest, because they get improved protection, which is neat. But yeah, you could maybe take a look at Prot. Like, I think the only professions that are problematic for Prot uptime are, I mean, I could literally just look at a log, but I'm pretty sure it's like Chronomancer and Tempest are the only professions that generate a ton of protection. I think Firebrand also does, but you actually have to run Axe for it. or you have to run mace for it, and a lot of groups are running like axe or they're running like staff spear firebrand, and their prot uptime is way worse. Nerf boon duration. I do look. I think that a bonus week that removes concentration as a stat from World versus World for 1 week would be super interesting. I would play the hell out of that bonus week. I think really interesting things would happen in that bonus week. It's such a big change that I don't really know that I can speculate on how it would change the game mode. Like that would change virtually every system in the game because boons touch every system in the game. Like the game was designed from day one with the expectation that one of the main things that players can do to interact with their squad members, themselves, and the game overall is give themselves boons. And I think a lot of recent design, because concentration has existed as a stat since HOT, has been done with boon duration in mind. There was almost zero duration in Vanilla Guild Wars 2, but Vanilla Guild Wars 2 hasn't existed for a decade. A lot of modern design in Guild Wars 2 has assumed that boon duration does exist. It's the same way that like PvE raid teams balance around the expectation the groups will have 100% quickness and 100% alacrity when they're tuning boss health. It's like it's available to players, they know that they will bring it. And so if you were to change that expectation, it might influence the game mode in a lot of ways that you don't necessarily expect. That's all I'm saying. Which is why I think it would be good as a bonus week. Because a bonus week only lasts for 1 week. And then it's over, and you can kind of figure out what people thought of it. Used to have to blast fire for might and static field for swiftness. You should listen to me command next Wednesday. I call blast fires at the start of every fight. That is Firebrand, Tome 1, Skill 4 to make the fire field, Skill 2 to blast it, and then Staff 2 to blast it again. Tempest Fire 2 is a fire field. Hollowsmith and Scrapper, E-Gun 4, Weapon Cancel is a blast. What else blasts that we, like, a normal person would run on a comp? NG Shortbow 2 is a blast. Berserker... No, we don't run Longbow anymore. What do we run on Zerker? I guess we run, like, Hammer Greatsword? I don't think any of those are blasts, though. But, like, I blasted Fired Fields, like, last week. I still do that for Might, for sure. And there's a lot of professions in the meta right now that still care deeply about blasting fields because Relic of Karakosa exists. So, like, playing Staff Tempest, you care so much about blasting fields. Not just fire, but you blast waters on Tempest, you blast fires on Tempest, you blast light fields on Tempest for the clears. Firebrand kind of cares about blasting fields, but that's mostly because you have that built-in Staff 3, Staff 2 blast combo. Scrapper's entire shortbow kit is about blasting fields. Like the 3, 2, and 5, 4 weapon rotations, or whatever you use for Scrapper for healing. Those are all blast-oriented. Your finishers, your elite finisher is a blast. You've druid blasts. Like, there's a ton of blasting in the meta still. There are other sources of boons. You can, like, empower for might, for example. You can advance for swiftness instead of blasting a static, but I actually think most support professions right now still blast fields and care deeply about blasting fields. I don't think Dagger Tempest blast that much, but it might still. I don't know. I haven't played Dagger in a really long time. I mean, if I think I can get away with it, man, I am not averse to, like, putting bone minions on to blast twice for, like, a fire field before combat. Bring back Spellbreaker Bubble to stop dying to GVG. I mean, I... Which one? Because there were a couple of them. There was the Spellbreaker Bubble that traveled with you. Then there was the Spellbreaker Bubble that didn't travel with you but prevented all applications of all boons. And then there's, like, Current Dome, which is just, it politely asks you to please not use boons so much. It's so complicated, man. Because, like, I learned to play World versus World in an organized context in, like, 2018. And if you didn't play World versus World in organized groups in 2018, that was the NG Stealth Blast meta. So there are a couple weird things about that meta. Number one was that you never saw a group before it hit you, because NGs would just blast smoke fields from a million miles away and then run to you over the course of 20 seconds. It was when Spellbreaker Dome was a field that removed all of your boons and prevented any boons from being applied. It was the meta where you could run a DPS Scourge with 10 target shades and all of your shades strip boons. Like, it was a very unforgiving meta for individual play. Because if your positioning was even just a little wrong, you would get obliterated by an enemy group. There was no support that would save you. And, well, I had a lot of fun with that meta, because it's, you know, when I learned to play the game. There's a bit of survivorship bias there, and I bet there's a lot of other people who started playing World versus World at the same time, played with guilds that weren't as good as me, exploded in half a second before they could even identify what was going on, and then said, man, this game mode sucks, I'm not playing this again. So that was a big factor in why Dome got changed, because it was really powerful when you knew what you were doing with it. It's why 10 target shades got changed, because you could just target cap anything. And it's also why Sneak Gyro got nerfed, because you had, like, no heads up that a group was coming, because this was before Warclaw Sniff existed. And then a little further down the road, it's also why Corrupts got nerfed, because Corrupting Stab, like you correctly pointed out with Immob, is a major feels bad. When you have stability and you're trying to help your group and then it corrupts into fear, it sucks. Because, like, you did your job, and you're still losing control over your character. I don't necessarily agree with that change, but I do understand their rationale for making it. Dome was only OP because it came out of stealth without counterplay. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, but I also don't think that's the whole story. I think it definitely was OP because it could come out of stealth without counterplay, but it's the same problem that people had with Transfuse. Skills that have a big difference between people using it effectively and using it ineffectively are good. The fact that Dome let you do that is good. The fact that Transfuse let you do that is good. The problem is when a skill is so good in the hands of somebody who knows how to use it, or a skill becomes good when you stack the absolute shit out of it, like where you're running Spellbreaker per party or Scourge per party, and just having them chain Transfuse and chain Winds of Disenchantment, that it actually becomes a balance problem. And I think that's the camp that old Winds of Disenchantment fell into, was that if you had like 6, 7, 8, 9 Spellbreakers, and you just dropped domes over and over and over and over again, there was no realistic counterplay to it, except for just, like, kiting out every single dome the group had, and then deciding to fight after that. Because for Dome that was like, you can't apply boons, you could not stack inside a dome and fight. Even when Winds was OP, nobody ran that many anyway, they 100% did. I don't have footage from back then, because I only started doing streaming and content creation in, like, 2023, but people would be running 40-man squads with Spellbreaker per party, and every single Spellbreaker would run Dome. I remember from nights in K&T, we'd have Dome orders that were like 6, 7 deep. People 100% ran that many wins. And the fact that you can run that many wins, I think, is a large portion of why it ended up getting nerfed. Like, there's a lot of skills that are really powerful at an individual level, and that's good. but then they become problematic when you have too many people using them and too many people stacking them. I think that Transfuse got nerfed for the exact same reasons, incidentally. Like, downstate doesn't matter when you just have an endless rotation of Scourges transfusing. It's like you go down, you get up again, and then the next Scourge is on deck to use their transfuse. The only reason that skills like Battle Standard, for example, haven't gotten hit by that same nerf bat is because Battle Standard doesn't actually priority target downs. If you chuck a Battle Standard onto a stack of 50 people and 10 of them are down, it's pseudo RNG to actually hit the downs with the banner. You may end up just hitting like a normal player with the banner, and then the finish aspect of it is wasted. So that's kind of how Battle Standard, which is a relatively powerful skill, regulates itself. Yeah, it also has a 3-second cast time, and your timing matters on it. Your timing on Dome doesn't really matter. You just cast Dome. You can't just cast Battle Standard whenever you want. So I think that's the difference between a skill like Battle Standard, which is really good and has an enormous skill gap associated with it. Like, you can be a horrible Battle Standard user, and you can be a really good Battle Standard user. But the people who are really good Battle Standard users aren't completely oppressive if you have 10 of them, because Battle Standard has some very real restrictions associated with it. Did you not know that about Battle Standard, Quaggan? Yeah, when you're dropping Battle Standard, you want to aim towards the edge of the main stack so that it clips downs without hitting like the 30 people who are standing on tag. I don't think I put that in like the how to play Berserker guide because it's really niche knowledge. Well, not like niche knowledge, but it's like if it's your first day playing Berserker, I don't think you need to know it. If it's your first day playing Berserker, let's focus on like noticing when there's downs and then just using it. Nerf Minstrel and Trailblazer? I think Minstrel should be nerfed. I would love to see a Minstrel nerf. What would it look like? It would take concentration off of Minstrel. You should have to run something like Givers if you want to play Minstrel. Like, you should not have a stat that has healing power and fucking concentration on the same stat line. Why Trailblazer? Trailblazer is like DPS Minstrel if you're a roamer. It has Condi damage, expertise, toughness, and vitality, I think. Is that correct? I never have to use Trailblazer because I play in squads. But I think that's what Trailblazer is. Trailblazer is like every important stat you need for Condi damage, and then as much defense as possible. There's no minstrel stats in PvP. Why is there in World vs. World? You'd have to ask CMC that. That's a CMC level question. Also, I don't play as PvP. I'm not gonna know. Alright, let's see if this yoinks a fight or not. This is a T3 Gary. So if they care about their score at all. Isn't Roy responsible for World vs. World balance? Not profession balance. So Roy is... What is his actual title? I should know this offhand, but I don't. Roy's official title is associate. What's Cecil's title? So Cecil Armstrong is the competitive producer for World versus World, and then Roy is an assistant producer for World versus World. What Roy and Cecil work on, and the other people who are on the competitive production team, is they work on the structural elements of World versus World. Roy and Cecil do things like rewards, they do things like VP and scoring, they do things like objective claims, upgrades, Dolyak timers, all that kind of stuff is Roy and Cecil. And then competitive balance is Taylor and CMC, and then a bunch of other people who work on competitive balance. The reason that Roy is on the balance streams is because Roy was a streamer before he got hired by ArenaNet, and he is a good presenter. He's good at talking, he's good at explaining, and he's good at engagement, which is why they have him on the balance streams, but he is not on the profession balance team. They pushed out, sort of. It doesn't look like a ton, so like I don't think I have to be super concerned. Yeah, it's a lot. I don't have to worry about all that. That's like 15 people. You're gonna need some more gamers for that. You have a waypoint here? No, 18 minutes. You must have pulled it to get here. Nobody who plays World versus World in 2025 cares about PPT. Well, they don't have a reason to. Because, like, the only thing that PPT matters for is if you don't want to fight or if you want to win a matchup. And winning matchups doesn't matter. But Cecil and Roy have said in the studio updates that they want to make winning matter in World versus World. They want to have a reason for why you would want to compete against two other teams. And when that happens, PPT is going to matter a lot more. I'm pretty sure you got that road off, which is unlucky. No, I got a fear off on you. I don't think I broke the... Yeah, I didn't break the res up, but I did at least get the fear off. Nerfing a singular stat won't fix everything like everyone expects. It won't. I just wish that, like, gearing decisions were more interesting. Like, if you play support in World versus World, why would you run anything other than Minstrel? There is no reason. Because Minstrel is everything you need and nothing that you don't. Like, our DPS professions have interesting choices to make. You can run Demolisher, you can run Marauder, you can run Berserker, and then if you're still dying, you can run something like, I don't know, Soldier, I guess, like if you're really bad. If you need to cap your crit chance, you can run Assassin. There's Dragon, if you want to get a little weird with, like, your Precision Ferocity mix-ups. Like, you actually have to think and do a bit of math in order to figure out what statting you should use as a power DPS player. If you are support, your flowchart is a single decision point. It is, are you support? If yes, you play Minstrel. Because Minstrel just does everything. And the reason that you can just pick Minstrel is that even with concentration as your minor on Minstrel statting, it's still usually good enough to hit the boon duration cap. Like, boon duration is not like other stats. It has a cap, and after that, more concentration doesn't help you. So as long as you get to that cap, you just don't care. Renegade doesn't run Minstrel? The Renegades that I know run Minstrel. The Renegades that I know that are playing in World versus World groups are Minstrel statted. The one support that I can think of that doesn't run Minstrel by default is Firebrand. I think some people have been experimenting with, like, Ritualist Firebrand as a way to reclaim a little bit of extra burn damage out of a support profession. But if there is a Minstrel build that is focused on providing 100% alack that isn't running Minstrel, I'm not familiar with it. That's not to say it doesn't exist, I have not heard of people doing that. Because that support minstrel build is so on rails. Like, your entire job is just to rotate through your two legends and just, like, mathematically optimize your boons. And that's it. It's like your whole job. You actually don't have to pay attention to what an enemy is doing, because you just roll all your shit on cooldown. It's why I really don't like Renegade. It doesn't take any thought to play that profession. But it doesn't take any attention to what enemies are doing to play that profession. You have to think. You just have to think about like what you're doing. You can ignore your enemies. Renegade runs Diviner in GV. Okay, in GVG maybe. Open field, I don't know anybody running Diviner. But I don't GVG, so that could be a blind spot for me. I know Power Renegades. I don't know Power Renegades. I do know some people who are trying to run like Trailblazer Renegade though. So I don't. Well, no, not Trailblazer. What was the one that was like boon duration, condi damage, toughness, or something? I don't know. People were doing some weird stuff with Renegade after Selly got nerfed. Get in here. You're so lucky. Havocus is going after him. He's gonna get away. Oh, he's not gonna get away. We've got a Willbinder over there. There's some decisions, but not as many as like Firebrand or Scrapper. I don't know. There's like 4 decisions. Your decisions are like, do I have to use orders from above in my current legend? Is it really important for me to use Inspiring Reinforcement and Rite of the Great Dwarf right now? Or is it just like sort of important? There is which of my short bow weapon skills should I use to spend my last 10 energy if I don't need to cast orders from above? And then there's like, how soon should I get in combat so I can banish enchantment on engage? It's like, in my experience playing Renegade, those were the only decisions I found myself making, and none of them had, outside of using Rite of the Great Dwarf, had anything to do with what my enemy was doing. Whereas Firebrand is like, I'm looking at my party UI every 2 seconds on Firebrand, because I'm like, do I need to drop into Resolve right now to cleanse Condues? Do I need to drop into Courage right now in order to use Courage 5? When am I going to get my next page back? What weapon set should I be in right now? Do I need to be using Projectile Reflect? And if I am, do I have enough pages to spend on my Courage 3, or should I be using Shield 5? Firebrand has so many decision points. I actually really like playing Firebrand. Banish Roads, Dwarf Road. If you do those 3 things, you're at 90% of Renegade. That's exactly why I didn't like it. That is exactly why I did not like playing Renegade. It just did not feel interactive to me. It felt like playing Renegade in World vs. World felt like I was playing PvE. Where I was just like, I'm just here to do a job and not stand in circles. But you don't have anything you can help your allies with. Like, you have no group stun break. So, like, it doesn't matter if you're looking at your group to stun break them. You don't have any Condi cleanse, so like you don't have healing either, so you don't ever have to look at your party UI. Your stab pulses, and if you just cast Road on cooldown when you have energy, and you're weapon swapping legends on rotation, and you're standing in your road, it doesn't expire, so it's not like you have to wait for your group to not have stab before you reapply it. You're right. Yeah, energy management to get below 10 before you legend swap was like kind of interesting, but if you did your rotation right, you didn't have to do it, because like the rotation was designed to get you under 10. I don't know. I recognize that I have a lot of prejudice against Renegade. I think Renegade is like my least favorite World versus World profession. The current iteration of it, anyway. The current like Rhodes bot, Alacrity bot, Banish enchantment on cooldown, current flavor of Renegade, I really do not like. I just really don't like it. I'll transfuse that. I got you. That's a lot of condues. I can help like a little bit with that, but I don't want to spend all my barrier on. You going right back in there. God damn. Also, you were saying boon duration runes, Thalard? I actually think that if we were going to live in my perfect world where we have a bonus week that strips concentration out of the game, it would be kind of interesting to have the only way to get boon duration on your runes and sigils. I think that'd be fine. If you've got a rune like Monk, that's like the whole reason... Or not Monk. Is it Monk? Is Monk the one that's 25% BD? I don't remember. I'll transfuse that, I guess. Whatever... Oh god, we're gonna lose more people back there. Yeah, we're gonna lose so many people here. I'm gonna have to burn, like, all of my support here. Even just putting shades down is going to clear a Condi here, but I don't think it's gonna matter. We're gonna get absolutely outclouded here. These are the kind of situations where it would be useful to just run 4 supports per party, because we can just trust our supports to press all their buttons, but it's just not interesting. Anyway, as I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted by enemy players defending their Gary. If we lived in a world that had no concentration, I think that you'd probably just want to keep all of the boon duration runes and sigils where they are, because that would be the choice that you made about your gearing. Do you want your stand your ground to be like 20% longer? Then yeah, sure, run Monk. Otherwise, if you don't care, just run something that's like plus healing. It is Monk. I was confusing Monk and Mercy. Mercy's the stuff that I use when I don't give a shit about boon duration. Monk has boon duration on it, though. Worth noting, by the way, that, well, Renegade is definitely my least favorite profession in the current meta. The very support Scourge build that I am playing right now is not far behind it. I do not enjoy playing this either. Oh, I'll go Glide. God, 2% Glide. You're so lucky / skilled. Any Condi and your day is ruined, man. Don't tell my commander I used Wells there. I'm batting. Like, you have slightly more decisions to make on Scourge because you have, like, Transfuse. So you can be like, I'm gonna look for downs and then I can transfuse them. You have really minor Condi Cleanse attached to your barrier. So you have, like, a little bit that you can help out with your party. The big issue that I have with Scourge is that you just want to roll this, and probably also this basically on cooldown because they're your barrier sources and you just want to maximize your barrier uptime because timing doesn't matter because it lasts so long. And then this, and this belong to your commander. You don't get to think about pressing those because they're a core component of allowing your entire group to spike in a coordinated fashion. So you just wait for your commander to be like, hey, I want Wells here so that my DPS professions do damage. And then you say, okay, boss, and then you cast them. So skills that you actively have to think about using are like Transfuse, Scepter 3, but really you should probably be like using Scepter 3 on cooldown, Trail, and Sword 4. And that's about it. I guess you can also think about like Shade Placement, and Shade Placement is okay. That gives you a vector for doing something. Scourge just doesn't have a lot of decision points. This will be fun. Air Force, baby! Get off that. Do not res him. Good dodge. Okay. Let's give a little bit more barrier to my friends here. Professions that I do like. Tempest rules. I love support Tempest. Firebrand is great. Love Firebrand. For damage professions, I really enjoy playing DH, and Hollowsmith isn't bad. I like playing Overheat Hollow, and I like playing Corona Burst 150 Heat Hollow. I think both of those are kind of fun. So there is stuff in the meta that I currently enjoy playing. It's more just that I don't... Oh. Goodbye, Havoc. It's more just that, I don't like the way that people feel like they have to build squads in this meta in order to be competitive. DH trap not being visible to the enemy is lame. Yeah. But you can find out really quick when your groups are fighting DHs, because you get into melee and you just absolutely explode. It would be nice if they had a bit more of a tell, though. I don't think you're ever going to have a meta that like nobody complains about, because not everybody in World versus World wants the same thing, but I think this is like a pretty unanimously, get feared by the way, unanimously unpopular meta. I think there's very few people who are playing right now, both small scale and large scale, who actually enjoy the amount of barrier that's available. What is going on down here? Seth, you piece of shit. Oh god. That's Seth's fault. Seth did this. You got at least some downs out of it, but we're gonna have to pull out of this. We're losing the war of attrition in here. I should just transfuse it. Get at least a bit going. Transfuse comes back. It grows on trees. Alright, we got him. I wonder if they've repaired outer. No. Looks like gate is still down. They probably want to get working on that. Because they're doing a really good job of kind of spreading us out, bleeding us out. We've lost a lot of greens. We lost all these blues up here. We're not going to be able to res them because there's so much damage up here. But if they run back... if they run back, they're just going to be able to walk right back in. They got to get that door closed. Otherwise, it's going to make us a lot easier to... going to make it a lot easier for us to get our people back on tag, and it's going to make their war of attrition much harder to try and win. That's a thief. I don't think I have to worry about getting pulled. If they Scorpion Wire me from there, the fair play, honestly. My party chilling? They're chilling. I don't need to do anything about this. I just want to get the oil dead. There we go. Okay. Now we can set siege up. See if I can get out of combat for this guy. Cure, maybe? There's no... I'm never going to get out of combat. You're going to be dead forever. Good Dorkata. Can I do anything? I don't know how you got out of combat with it. I want to go pull on that portal so bad, man. Yeah, now we're going to have to go get more supply. Tyrion's out, we're down to 70. Let's see if we can drag him down into a choke a bit. Yeah, they're kind of falling for it. You got stab? You have Aegis. That's gonna do enough for you. Also, strafing is gonna do enough for you. Also, that person's just gonna get rezzed. No, you saw it. Never mind. He saw it. He saw it. Classic. Oh, they did? No, this upgraded. No, they did. They repaired the gate. Gate got repaired. Yeah, so now, well, yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to drop out. We ran out of supply. We're down like 4 people. The gate's repaired, so we can't open it back up. This is gonna buy them like another 5 or 10 minutes to refresh their defenses before we get our shit together enough to come back. That's a really well-played defense from them. And we're not a small group either right now. We're like probably, well, like we're 32 2 in squad, probably. Tyrion's probably got another 10, and then we've probably got like another 10 greens. Will they ever nerf Boonball meta? Nope. Boons are too core to the game to remove them. Like, the only way you nerf Boonball meta is by removing every boon from the game. Because the Boonball meta isn't about boon access, it's about coordination. It's about the difference between 30 people who are on comms and talking to each other and using their voices and people who don't, is really what Boonball comes down to. You think when there was a range squad and a melee squad? Yeah, but what were people in the melee squad running? They were running double Firebrand, or they were running double Core Guard, because Core Guard is all that existed back then, and you were rotating between stab 1 and stab 2 to keep your stab uptime. You were blasting fire fields to get your boons so that you could stay at 25 stacks of might. Like, it still mattered a lot. Also, wasn't that like... No, this would have been later, because this is like when Chrono came out. But when Chrono came out in HOT, wasn't there like the SOI meta where you just like randomly shared boons to everybody else who was in your squad? Like, groups coordinating and stacking to have access to boons has been a thing basically since day one of the game. The ways in which you obtain boons have changed. Sometimes you blast fields, sometimes you use skills, sometimes you get them through like other trait synergies. But World versus World has always been about boons, and it always will be about boons. The question that people should ask, rather than is the Boonball meta ever going to change, is the difference between a coordinated and uncoordinated group ever going to change? Because that's kind of what it boils down to. You still need to dodge and be moving out of AoE. Everybody stacks in one spot and barely moves. So the reason that happens... Like, you've watched us play tonight for a bit, and you've seen fights where we do die. Granted, we're not running for support, but you can kill a 4 support group. It's not like they're completely unkillable and never die. The way that you kill a 4 support group... Also, Ruthless is tagging me. He didn't even make it to 11. He's soft. I'll finish this thought, and then we'll pivot to Astronauts. But let me get the train of thought back first. The way that you kill a 4 support group is by coordinating your DPS spike. So if you have a group of like 30 players, and those 30 players are fighting another group of 30 players, and one of the groups has 4 supports per party, and they're all in comms and they're coordinating their skill use, and the other group has no commander and nobody is in voice and they're using their skills at random periods, the random group is never going to kill the coordinated 30-man group, because you aren't using your skills at the same time. You aren't punching through the support that the 30-man group has. The 4 support 30-man group. The way that you kill the 4 support 30-man group is by getting all of your DPS players in your other squad coordinated, using their skills at exactly the same time, and spiking hard enough that you can go through barrier, and you can go through heals, and you can do it often enough that it overcomes things like IOL or banner. So I think the problem that a lot of people have when they talk about like the Boonball meta is that it's actually a coordination gap, where there are some groups that are more coordinated than others. And if that's the conversation that we're having, it is way harder right now to kill a coordinated group than it has been in the past. Part of that is like due to support, but part of it is also just due to like coordination and build optimization mattering more than it has previously. But MagCloud exists? Yeah, which groups do you think MagCloud is killing? Do you think they're killing the coordinated 4 support 30-man groups, or do you think they're just farming a bunch of other random cloud? Especially because most groups that are running like the 4 support meta comps don't want to fight Mag in the first place because they don't have fun fighting Cloud. Mag does really well, and Mag can kill better groups than you would expect a normal Cloud to be able to kill because their individual player quality is really high. but you can't outcloud a force support group if you're not coordinated yourself. I am happy to continue this conversation. I'm having a great time, but I also don't want a server hunt. I'm just going to go play Astronauts for a bit. But we can talk about Guild Wars during Astronauts. If you're going to take off, on the other hand, this has been a very fun conversation. If you want to continue it, I have a Discord where I ping when I'm going live. I have a YouTube where I post guide videos, explainers, and reviews of what's going on in World vs. World. I have a VODs channel if you want to catch up on stuff that we've done on the channel in the past. If you're only here for Guild Wars stuff, I totally understand if you want to take off. We're going to take a pivot, and we're going to go play Astronauts for about another hour, 2 hours or so, maybe. Also, hello, Sea Sniffer. How you doing? What's up, Calvin? I can also leave TeamSpeak. I'm so tired of hearing user disconnected from my channel. Get me out of there. I will be the user who disconnects. Interview CMC when? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how I would, like, by virtue of spending a bunch of time in World versus World, I've gotten to talk to Roy and Cecil, but that's not really through, like, being an ANET partner. It's through just spending a lot of time in the game mode and being in the same circles as them. I don't think I've ever talked to CMC, because CMC doesn't spend time in World versus World at the same times that I do, or maybe, like, he just doesn't spend as much time in World versus World. I would be interested in doing it. I just don't know how to make that connection.